Let's return now to the conflict in the Middle East between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. The death toll on both sides continues to climb as the UN Security Council calls for an immediate end to the fighting. Our Middle East correspondent Tom Joyner joins us from Ashdod in southern Israel, and North America correspondent Greg Jennett is in Washington with the latest. So Tom, what's happening where you are?
Well, Lisa, today ends the first full week of fighting between Hamas in the Gaza Strip and Israel. What started on Monday as a volley of rockets fired by Hamas into Israel, including towards Jerusalem, has steadily increased and escalated through the last week to where we are today. At least 190 Palestinians killed in the Gaza Strip in Israeli airstrikes, according to health officials there. And on this side of the border, 10 Israelis killed in rocket attacks from Hamas, including 2 children. The situation, though, in Gaza is the most severe. Many had hoped that Saturday had brought the worst of the violence when 10 Palestinians were killed in the Shati refugee camp, including 8 children, in an Israeli airstrike in the early hours of Saturday morning. It was only a day later, though, that 42 Palestinians were killed, according to those same health officials, near Al-Wahda Street in Gaza City. 3 buildings flattened in an Israeli airstrike, and rescue workers struggling throughout the day to try and recover people trapped under the debris. One rescue worker called out and heard a response from someone trapped under the rubble and managed to rescue that person, so some good news there. Now, on the Israeli side of the border, rocket attacks continued through Saturday night and into Sunday. A number of direct hits into the southern part of Israel, including 1 on a synagogue in Ashkelon and 2 into a residential area of Ashdod, where I am now. No injuries so far reported.
And what have we heard from the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu?
Well, Mr. Netanyahu has been unwavering so far over the last week in his refusal to back down from Israel's aerial bombardment campaign in the Gaza Strip. Today he appeared on Israeli television in a live address, essentially continuing with that message, saying that Israel's campaign continues in full force. So everything pointing towards this fighting continuing.
And Greg, if I can turn to you, Benjamin Netanyahu was also on American television because that is a very important audience for him as well. The UN Security Council had an emergency meeting. What's it said about the escalating violence?
Yes, it was quite conspicuous that Benjamin Netanyahu did find time to speak to US audiences in the middle of so much going on at home. But simultaneously, the UN Security Council, all 15 members were involved in a discussion, a public discussion that went for more than 3 hours. Many, or in fact all, condemning the violence that's going on there. Some demanding a ceasefire, but they did come up short when trying to reach a unanimous, and it does have to be unanimous at the Security Council, agreement on some sort of joint statement. Now, we might explain the reasons, or at least one reason that we understand they failed to find the necessary consensus on that joint statement. But perhaps to frame the gravity of the situation as it was received and commented upon by all 15 members, this was really done quite effectively by Secretary General Antonio Guterres, but also by his special coordinator for the Middle East peace process, that's Tor Vennesland. Both laid it straight on the line for all Security Council members about just what's at stake here.
The United Nations is actively engaging all sides towards an immediate ceasefire. The hostilities have already caused unconscionable death, immense suffering, and damage to vital infrastructure.
We cannot allow the situation to slide further into chaos. The hostilities must stop. I reiterate the appeal just given by the Secretary General for an immediate cessation of hostilities and for his dire warning that this conflict will increase radicalization and extremism in the whole region.
So no doubt about what the starting position was for discussion, but it all came a cropper. There will be no joint statement from the Security Council. One of the key reasons for this is the US. The US has been reluctant to sign up to that. It's being chastised publicly by China for doing so, but China is maintaining, along with Norway and Tunisia, that discussions will be ongoing back in the private sphere next.
It's quite a dilemma for the White House right now as well. Greg and Tom, thank you for the details.